Morning guys, here we have my usual Speedfight 2 in my little shed. This one came into me with not starting. That was the only bit for it. Moment I got there, I noticed that the exhaust, which I'll show you later, then baffles off. And as I went to push it away, this had to check something as well. Listen, that is suspension completely gone. Front and I've shown you how to test these before on MOT, pre-MOT, but it's dampener's gone. Now, all that is spring. You can hear it, instant failure, and I mean, you only got to look. Can you imagine going on the road like that? That would be, I don't know how you'd even stay on the road with that. This one's got 29k on the clock, about 20,000 miles. Starter problem. So I've done a video on that before, so I'm going to check obviously whether we've got power to obviously the battery. Would always do that, I'll stick it on charge. I'm going to check that we've got power going to the relay and then power going to the starter motor. So it could be the relay, starter motor or switch. And obviously when I put it up, make sure that the brakes and the back light goes on as well. Could even be that before I've had it simple. So we'll check all them. Once I've got it running, well at least turning over, I'll do the carburetor. I also check the old variator belt and clutch, make sure they're okay, and then do the front and rear suspension on this model, and then see what else we find. So I'll keep you updated. Just want to show you the basics. At least you know suspension. If they're ever like this, I mean, God, you honestly, that is death. You'd have gone over some little pothole and just spun you up in the end, you'd been off straight away. So this is 2002 50cc Speedfight 2. Been told it does about 45 miles an hour. So not hard to de-restrict the old 2s, very hard to de-restrict the 3s. I don't like the 3s that much. They're a lot easier they are. These are, there's normally a little washer where the variator is, you can change the rollers and obviously then change the exhaust and update the air filter. You can upjet them, you can do all sorts of things to these. May make them last longer, the more you do to them the faster, you know. I think 45 is a good speed for these, they're quite happy doing that. So when you start getting up 55, 60 miles an hour, you know they're going to blow up. They don't last that long. So I'll get on with this and I will update you and you can see what as I do it along. So catch you in a bit guys. Right guys, as I always say, strip them down nice and easy, aren't they? So here you go. I don't like these orange leads, they're normally cheap ones from a different place. Put my old battery charger unit to it, charging the battery. See, it was low so it needed charging. When I turned ignition on this one, for some reason I hadn't got indicators, which I have now. Turned out to be this unit here, the WD-40. Anyway, testing the electric start system. First thing you do is do the brakes, okay? Then you know that the connection's going. Next thing you do is hold it in, and now if you can hear that little box there, you see it there, red wire's there. Okay, that little clicking noise you can hear means that the whole system, from the brake to the button all the way to the relay, is working. So deep in here, under there, I'll show you in a minute, is the starter motor, and that's what it's going to be. So we'll get that sorted, get it turning over, and then we can look at the rest of the engine. Right guys, nice and easy. See where the light is? That's your first bolt there. Okay, and then get on the floor. There it is there. That is your starter motor. Okay, where the nicely lit is. And the bolt is just to the left of it, not the Phillips one, but that one there. Okay, undo that bolt there, not the Phillips, and on top. And for that, you just simply need a long one. I'll get a long one because I'll get in this side. So it'd be just quite simply in and undo. Okay. Right, the offending possible object had the original cradle on, which is, you have to squeeze this open with an ordinary screwdriver and pull out the wire. There was the 2 bolts, just 8mm, and here could be the offending object. Seems to spin okay. You must make sure you've disconnected the battery before taking these off, because it's so easy to touch an earth and you're just going to blow and get a big bang. Now normally you just twist these around, you can tell, but this doesn't feel that bad. I can give it a test anyway. Okay guys, maybe overkill, but as you can see, I just put the power connector to there and there, this little voltmeter. I've plugged it in, and what happens now is if I touch this, we should see See the lights going? So I know there was power going to the starter motor, so we're okay there. So it has got to be this little kitty here. Nice and easy. Okay guys, you have to have a loom, which I've got, but if you touch this and this together, there you see, that's perfectly working. So there is nothing wrong with this. I'm going to WD it up and stick it back on, see why it didn't work. I would have shown you putting it back on, but I can't hold the camera and wind it into well. But this green wire here is your earth and goes into that bolt there, and that's a must. Okay, and the top one's just on the top, which I showed you earlier. And then all we do is you put some power back onto it, turn it on, and well, look at that. That was it was just loose, I think, bit of grit in it, I'm not sure. Anyway, so far so good. Clean the carburetor next, see what happens. Just a quick one guys, if you're going to fit a side stand on, fit it on properly. Couple of bolts, do you know, these two here, bit of WD on them, spray them up. I mean, you don't want your bike falling over. Look at this thing, look. So I'm going to WD all that up, spray it, and get it on properly. You know it's a must. Right, carburetor. Right, carburetor maintenance. I'm not going to show you how to get it off, as I've shown you so many times before. Oh God, I sound like a teacher. Anyway, remember, get this out, keep it clean, keep it out of the way, however you want to do it. And there's just 1, 2. These must be tight when you put it back on. This one was loose. If it's loose, it could possibility of getting extra air in and messing around. Do not over tighten, and that's difficult, isn't it? Not over tighten, but not over tighten. If you over tighten them, they're just going to spin round. You've got to put a nut on the back and a bigger screw, which you don't want to do. Anyway, there we go. That's going to be off in a minute, and I'll give it a good clean and then put it back on. I've just checked for spark. Again, I've shown you before how to do this. Take it off, touch it against a nice rust old exhaust. There was a spark there, so that was nice and simple. So now I've got start, I've got a spark, clean carburetor, and I think this thing will go then. Let's have a look. Carburetor, remember, this one actually hasn't got a jet that you can take out to for the idle, but it has got a main jet. That's a 75, so that's quite big. Should be 50, 52. So might down jet it, depends how it runs, and obviously getting that out. But there's your basic carburetor, shown you so many times before, and good old carburetor cleaner. I'm going to put the air filter. This one's got a weird exhaust on it. It's got an original exhaust on it, but with the end pipe off. So I might actually, can't see it, I'll show you in a minute, there you go. I might actually cut that end bit off rather than changing the exhaust. But yeah, let's clean this and get it back together. Last thing guys, when cleaning the carburetor, okay, remember I use the blue one for the outside and the good one for the inside, in a well ventilated room, and wear goggles. It hurts when it goes in your eyes. It really, really, really does, I know. Auto chokes, as I said before, it's difficult to test these. As long as it's not physically broken, they're going to work. That's the only way I can say it. But yeah, anyway, there's the carburetor. Give it a good old clean spray up, put all the bits back together again and see how it goes. But there you go, goggles and a well ventilated room, you will get high. Guys, just a quick one on the carburetor. Remember, this is the vacuum. Bottom one is the vacuum which you suck on, which goes into the inlet manifold, and the top one goes into the carburetor. You need to prime it. I've shown you before how to prime it, but make sure you use petrol cables. Do not use fish pond stuff. Do you know what I mean? This is indoor fish stuff. This is pipe, and the reason being, it goes hard, the ends go brittle, and what happens is they start letting air in. So your bike gets hard and harder to start because the vacuum needs to have a little bit more in it. So always use petrol pipe. Top tip of the day. Nice easy one. Air filter. You can wash these. They're all washable because they're foam. But I always take them apart anyway. When someone's got ordinary screws in them, because it should be star shaped, I worry someone's been in it. When I took this one off, I thought there was nothing in there. I turned it round. Duh. Do you know what the person has done, didn't you? They didn't understand this lovely little air filter doesn't go in, it goes in that way. They just screwed it up and lobbed it in, which means possibility that crap got into the carburetor. So, off the market, rather thick. I'll give it a wash, put it back in, and let's see what happens then. But put them in properly. I mean, come on, it even got the screw holes. Screwing it up, lobbing it in there, how mental's that? Right guys, carburetor's back on, and the main air filter,
I haven't put the extension pipe on yet because I may need to use some easy start, I don't know, but I've primed, it's ready to go. So that's spark, carburetor, start a motor, turn on, and oh, look at that. Oh, well, job done there. I will check the old variator because I know it's had it all off. Well, job done. I'm not going to leave it running. I'm not going to do the suspension on this video. I will do, because it's quite long, laborious, but the basics, you know, you've just got to take off this nut and up there. And then obviously the same here, you've got to do this one. And a bit more finicky one is in there. But I'll do another video on that. To be honest, I might not even, because suspension's really easy to do. Yeah, there you go, job done. Check out the variator and I'm happy days then. Check out my other videos, guys. That was a nice and easy one, wasn't it? Okay, there's a PS on this one. This is a knackered shock. You need a 13mm and two 16mm. You need to move the petrol tank just slightly off its seating so you can get to the bolt in here. Top tip, changing suspension, don't change it for one that's knackered. Ugh, when you've got lots of parts, if you find a knackered part, chuck it out. Otherwise you're just wasting your time like I just did, changing the shock absorber and finding out that dampener's gone as well. So I may have to buy one, so that will set me back time, not so much money, not expensive. And the front one, you just no way of really knowing and putting pressure on enough. But I have several in here on the shanks in there that I can actually change that one with. So here you go, top tip of the day and a PS. But anyway, suspension will be done, and this bike, I'll do an end picture of it back on the road with all stickers.